Hi guys, Tornado Knight here. Today I'm going to do a quick version of what if Goku was a girl. Now I do know some people are enjoying the fan version a little bit, but I also know some people actually prefer when a lot of things aren't changed. So here's how I would break it down quickly. First, the events on Planet Vegeta will go as what they would in the original story, where Goku gets sent off as a baby, and shortly after the Saiyan planet's blown up, he arrives on the planet. Earth in the forest. Gohan finds him. Gohan tries to take care of young Goku, which he's still gonna call her Goku, even though I don't think Goku's like not gender neutral. You know, eventually he's going to drop Goku down the ridge and down the ravine or hill, cliff. Drop him on his head, he's going to have brain damage, and Goku's going to become a lighthearted character. Now, most of the events Dragon Ball are going to be the same, but there will be a couple changes. One, Bulma would not treat a female who seems lost to the world the same as she would a little boy. The little boy, she wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Though I feel that Bulma would take Goku closer under her wing, you know, try to teach her more things about being a girl. It might change. There could be an argument that maybe Goku decides she likes, you know, being a girl and doesn't focus as much on training, and it might make her weaker. But for not trying to get too much into headcanon, let's just say Goku's personality pretty much stays the same. I want to be stronger all the time. Goku would still, you know, go on the Dragon Ball quest, you know, help Chi-Chi, but of course there wouldn't be a romantic connection between Chi-Chi and Goku. If anything, the original Yamcha connection, when Yamcha meets Chi-Chi, would probably be a little bit closer to accurate, maybe even something that becomes permanent. I have heard some people say maybe Krillin and Goku would become romantically engaged. I'm going to say no to that notion, because based on what we've seen of Krillin's choice in women, Krillin is actually kind of shallow with women. Most of the female animated characters that Krillin goes for are in a hotter tier, whereas a female Goku, if we're going to be honest about it, would probably be closer to Gein's looks. Maybe, you know, we swing in the Bardock thing, and Gein, if you're putting Gein side by side with characters like Bulma and Lodge and Android 18 and some of the other women that he's dated, I don't think Goku falls in that line. And also, Krillin's not attracted to powerful women until Android 18. The previous women that he dated, Meryl, had some interest with Bulma. None of them were powerful. Android 18, I don't even think it was because of her power. It was more of he just saw the fact that she was damaged, and I think he felt like helping her, and it just turned into something else. Most of the events of Dragon Ball would follow the same. The Chi-Chi thing would probably be closer with Yamcha. Maybe eventually those two pair off. The thing with Tambourine, he would still kill Krillin. Goku would still go on to get the Dragon Balls to revive Krillin. He would still defeat Piccolo. Piccolo Jr. would still be born. I think the time jump there when Kami trains Goku, because Goku's not going to go get married, maybe he stays with Kami longer, or goes out and seeks out personal training, since he would probably be more of a hermit after the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. I think it was number 23 where he beat Piccolo Jr. Perhaps he even goes out and trains with Piccolo, because Piccolo is now the strongest person that he's seen, and Piccolo is realigned with Kame, so he kind of calming down a little bit. And maybe as a female, that's been closer to Bulma, being raised through the years to understand more of her feminine side. You know, Bulma's more of a sister. Maybe Goku as a girl is able to calm down Piccolo and actually is able to train with him and make Piccolo into a good character sooner rather than later. And if that was the case, going on that hypothetical, the training with Piccolo before Raditz's arrival would probably make them both substantially stronger, maybe not drastically stronger, but instead of being like around the 300 versus what was it, 1200 or something like that, maybe it's like 600s versus 1200s. and maybe nobody dies. Maybe Piccolo and Goku, after the extra training, are able to beat Raditz without having anyone die, but then they still hear about Vegeta and Nappa's arrival coming to Earth, and they decide that they need to speak to Kame and find out if there's any way that they can become much stronger. Kame would then refer to his friend King Yima in the underworld, in the afterlife, and King Yima would say that I can let 2 warriors come to King Kai's planet for special training from King Kai. So they would probably go to King Kai's planet alive, and Goku and Vegeta would actually train there together instead of separate. That would mean that when Nappa and Vegeta arrive on the planet, because Goku and Piccolo actually went together, so the events of Princess Snake probably wouldn't occur, since Piccolo is much more mentally trained than Goku, and Piccolo would have seen right through her illusions. We assume that he spends more time on they both spend more time on King Kai's planet, so they both would be easily able to dispose of Nappa. Vegeta would have similar comments about the missing tail and whatnot, but realize that he has 2 people that are bringing him to the max of his power, because they would both unlock Kaioken training together. I think Piccolo's body is probably more capable of Kaioken than the Saiyans, simply because he has regenerative abilities, but that's headcanon. Of course, they don't kill Vegeta, much like in the regular saga, because Goku would mention to Piccolo about the way that he spared Piccolo after the World Martial Art Tournament, and look how he became. Piccolo would agree with Goku just based on giving her the benefit of a doubt. I think the injuries would be less, because Goku and Piccolo would be training together and be closer in power, because at this point in time Piccolo's not reaching his limits of power, so we're not going to have that drastic of a difference between the Namekians and the Saiyans yet. That probably wouldn't come until sometime in the Frieza arc, when it's clear that Piccolo's reaching his limits without merging with Kame. Being half of himself, he's reaching his limits. Now, as far as a romantic connection, because Krillin at this point is definitely definitely into different women, and he has been separated from Goku for a while, Krillin potentially is just going to follow the same suit. Eventually he'll fall for Android 18, go on to have their baby together, and Goku is not going to have a love interest yet. The one difference, I think, would be because the Frieza arc would probably go about the same, except for Piccolo and Goku, so they have less injuries from the original battle since they fought against Vegeta together. So they go to the planet Namek together, training in a special ship made by Capsule Corp with a gravity chamber, so they're able to get up to times 100 together. Piccolo notices probably around this time that the Saiyans and Nameks don't evolve at the same rate, and the training required for their bodies is quite different, so you're probably going to start to see a slight gap come between the two, and most of the events of Namek are going to go fairly similar. Bulma comes along, helps with the Dragon Balls, because there's Piccolo and Goku with both similar training, and they both know each other's techniques more closely, and Vegeta's a little bit more wary. Some of the battles are probably going to go a little bit easier, and Piccolo's probably going to dissect what Captain Ginyu's doing long before he actually has a chance to take over Goku's body. Also, one thing that I just always wanted to change, just because I just hate it, let's assume Goku actually does get hurt in the Ginyu Saga. Because Piccolo's a Namekian and knows about the regenerative abilities, he would actually talk to Dente after seeing the healing and actually have Goku healed by Dente, not put into a tank to where we watch half of the party die to Frieza while Goku's sitting there with a guy who's perfectly capable of healing him. I never liked that part. Just never liked that part. I know it was done so we could see the other fighters fight and not have to just see Goku fight Frieza, but we all know it never made any sense that Dente didn't just walk over to the healing tank and take Goku out and say, hey, here's a full heal. You know, let's bring the hero back already, instead of letting everybody die. So the events on Namek would still continue to be about the same. Like I said, the battles would be a little bit easier because Piccolo and Goku trained together on the way to Namek. So there was 2 warriors that came in with around 180,000 instead of 1. And of course, the Zenkai boost and the continual battling would still affect Goku the same way. I don't think Krillin would be Goku's best friend anymore. Just because Krillin and Goku have kind of fallen off because Goku continued training, whereas Krillin probably... Either he might have continued training a little bit with him, but he probably would have seen that he probably doesn't like Piccolo Jr. as much because Piccolo Jr., you know, was... Tambourine killed him and they're clanning close, and he doesn't like the fact that he has to train with somebody who's responsible for Tambourine. So he probably would have went back to Roshi's Island on his own instead of training together earlier on in the series. So over time, Piccolo Jr. has probably become closer with Goku than Krillin. And it would be Piccolo Jr.'s death. Oh, one point I forgot to mention. The reason they went to Namek in the first place was because Piccolo died on the planet Earth and they needed the Dragon Balls. The reason they would go to Namek this time around is because Vegeta had his scouter and Frieza overheard about the Dragon Balls. And because of that, Vegeta, when his life is spared, warns Piccolo and Goku that the planet that your green friend comes from is going to be destroyed by Frieza, and I'm going to be there to laugh as he does it. This would, you know, trigger the same events. They still need to go to the planet Namek because they feel responsible for what Frieza's going to do because of the information that was shared through the Scouters. I forgot to bring that up, sorry. Okay, but anyways, back to the Namek saga. Because of the closeness of Goku with Piccolo, I think at this point we'd have to see Piccolo's first death instead of Krillin. And that's what would trigger the Super Saiyan. Vegeta would still die. Everybody would still get revived the way they get revived. Goku would still end up over on Yargis, learning about the instant transmission. The events of the Cell Saga, Android Saga, Cell Saga, Trunks, future Trunks still happen. I don't think Goku and Vegeta's characters would ever mesh together to like have a weird romance between the two of them. Not from like original storyline standpoints, because I think Goku's too dumb. Vegeta probably wouldn't respect the brain damage version of Goku. Then the I think the difference in the Cell Saga would be that Goku doesn't die because there's no one else to protect the planet. Unlike in the original story where he had Gohan to kind of like give the mantle to, there is no one to hand the mantle to. So Goku's preparations for Cell would go a little differently, and he would have probably trained with either Trunks, Vegeta, or we keep it the same. Trunks, Vegeta train together, and then Goku goes in there by himself and challenges himself in that manner. And maybe Piccolo goes with them, fused with Kame, who was much stronger at that point than Vegeta before he went into the Time Gamer. So it would have been a pretty impressive training, you know, going in there with a fused Kame Piccolo at that point. Let's see, then we would go on to the Majin Buu arc. Goku, of course, was training. Probably would have went to King Kai's planet between the Cell Saga and Majin Saga, and would have been training the entire time because he has no love connections on the planet. Vegeta's kind of with Bulma, and Piccolo and Kami are just kind of protecting over the Earth. So Goku's got to find a new training partner. I think that's probably where you'd go to the King Kai's world. Maybe you get something similar to the Pycon series in the Afterworld, you know, something along those lines, which helps Goku unlock the Super Saiyan 3. Now, the Majin Buu saga becomes a little interesting because if Vegeta kills himself to fight Buu, I don't think that would occur if Goku was never dead in the first place. So Goku would have come down to the tournament. The battle between Goku and Vegeta would not have been like how it was in the series. Majin Vegeta would have just got mollywopped by a Goku that was training all those years, and versus a Vegeta that was kind of, once in a while he went into gravity chamber, but he became a family guy. Goku is completely reclusive because he has no love connection. She has no love connection, so she's just training all the time. That's all she does, and she's probably got easier access over Super Saiyan 3 than the original Goku did at this point, because she's more focused on training, less on anything else. The Buu Saga, because there's no Gohan, the fusion for Vegeta and Goku is going to have to become done sooner, and eventually the fused Vegeta is probably going to have to destroy Buu. Similar events take place. As far as Super is concerned, I don't see much changes to the storyline, not leading up to the Tournament of Power. Now, after the Tournament of Power, it becomes interesting because Goku was very impressed with Broly, and I think Broly might be where you would be able to make a first love interest for Goku. And I think from there, we'll just see where the story itself goes, but that'd be my opinion if you went canonically with Goku as a girl. More of a short story version. Until next time, peace.